When the Martin family moved into the charming old Victorian on Hemlock Lane, they thought they had found their dream home. The creaky floors, the stained glass windows, the fireplace that stretched to stories it was perfect. For a while, at first it was just a subtle sensation, faint vibration, almost like the house was breathing. On quiet nights, the walls seemed to pulse gently, a soft hum that felt more felt than heard. The Martins assumed it was the old pipes or the heating system kicking in. But as days passed, the hum grew louder, deeper, more insistent. At night, it filled every room, rising and falling like a slow heartbeat. The family tried to ignore it, but the children grew restless and scared. Their youngest, Lily, said the hum sounded like a lullaby, but one that made her feel sleepy and strange. One evening, Mr. Martin, a sound engineer, decided to record the noise. Sitting in the basement, microphone in hand, he captured the hum and something else. Beneath the steady drone, barely audible, were faint voices chanting in a language no one recognized. It wasn't singing or music, but something older, something ancient. He played the recording for his wife, who felt chills run down her spine. They both agreed. The house wasn't just humming, it was calling. As weeks went on, strange things began to happen. Lights flickered without cause. Doors slammed shut on their own. Family photos tilted on the walls. The hum seemed to intensify when the Martins gathered together. One night, Lily woke screaming, claiming a shadow was singing to her from beneath her bed. Her voice was quiet, almost hypnotic. "Come play. Come stay." Mrs. Martin checked under the bed. Nothing but dust and a stray sock. But the next morning, the carpet near Lily's bed was stained with muddy footprints, small but distinct. Determined to find the source, the Martins called a paranormal investigator named Rachel. She arrived with equipment to measure electromagnetic fields and thermal cameras. Rachel spent 2 nights in the house. On the first night, her instruments recorded spikes of energy around the basement walls, especially near a section of cracked plaster. When she inspected the crack, she noticed something unusual, a faint, rhythmic vibration coming from inside the wall. She tapped the plaster and heard a hollow sound. She insisted they break through. Behind the wall was a small hidden chamber. Inside were hundreds of human teeth, some polished like beads, others jagged and yellowed, arranged meticulously in patterns on shelves. On the floor, candles burned low, surrounded by dried herbs and old bones. Rachel recoiled, her skin crawling. The air inside the chamber was thick with something foul decay, and something far worse. The hum grew deafening the moment the wall was broken. Rachel's thermal camera showed shadowy figures moving through the basement forms that weren't human. Their mouths opened wide, but no sound came out. The family fled the house that night, but the hum didn't stop. Neighbors reported seeing flickering lights and hearing the same strange melody floating through the neighborhood at odd hours. Months later, the house was sold to a demolition company. On the day the wrecking ball arrived, workers complained of headaches and nausea. One of them snapped a photo of the basement before the walls came down and captured a face in the dust, staring directly at the camera. The demolition crew abandoned the project midday. The house that hums still stands, empty and silent for most of the day. But when the sun sets and the wind dies down, some say you can still hear the soft singing and the slow heartbeat beneath the floors.